Ladies and gentlemen, life often feels like an intricate tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, triumph, and trial. Yet beneath the surface of this complexity lies a divine force at work, a gentle, unwavering guide who knows the pattern before it's revealed. Today, I want to explore how God guides your life, not as a distant observer, but as an ever-present architect of your journey. First, let us recognize that God's guidance is subtle yet profound. It's rarely the thunderclap or the parting of the sea. Instead, it's the gentle whisper in the storm, the unexpected opportunity, or the door that closes to lead you to another path. These moments often seem ordinary until you step back and see how perfectly they align. In the vast complexity of life, there exists an unseen hand gently nudging us toward our destiny. God's guidance is not always dramatic or easily recognizable. It rarely arrives with fanfare or spectacle, nor does it force itself upon us with overwhelming certainty. Instead, it is subtle, quiet, and deeply powerful. It is the whisper amidst the noise, the steady current beneath the surface, guiding us even when we are unaware of it. This subtlety often causes people to overlook or underestimate God's presence in their lives. We expect the miraculous, burning bushes, parting seas, or voices from the heavens, but God's ways are often understated, concealed in the ordinary moments of life. A chance encounter with someone who inspires us, an unexpected delay that keeps us from harm, or a quiet inner voice urging us to take a step we've been avoiding. All of these are threads in the tapestry of divine guidance. When we look closely, we begin to see that what we once called coincidence might in fact be God working behind the scenes. God's subtle guidance is powerful because it respects our freedom. It doesn't impose or coerce. It invites. It's as though God is a master craftsman offering tools and materials, but allowing us to choose how we build our lives. This kind of guidance fosters growth, self-awareness, and faith. By not overwhelming us with obvious signs or undeniable interventions, God allows us to engage with life more consciously, developing discernment and trust. There is a certain wisdom in this subtlety. If guidance were always overt, it might rob us of the opportunity to exercise faith and develop resilience. Imagine if every question in life were answered for us immediately, or every problem solved without effort. We might feel relief in the moment, but we would miss the deeper lessons embedded in the journey. God's subtle guidance encourages us to seek, to reflect, and to grow. It invites us to tune in to the quiet currents of life and develop an awareness that transcends surface-level perceptions. This is not to say that God's guidance is always gentle. There are moments when life shakes us to our core, losses, failures, or sudden changes that disrupt our plans. Even in these moments, however, the divine hand is at work, redirecting us or waking us from complacency. Yet even such seemingly harsh lessons are delivered with care, tailored to our growth. The subtlety lies in how these experiences later reveal their purpose, showing us that even in pain, God was guiding us towards something greater. Often, the most profound instances of God's guidance come when we look back. In the moment, it's easy to miss the significance of a particular event or decision. We might struggle, question, and doubt. But with time, we begin to see how the pieces fit together, how every detour led us closer to where we were meant to be. This retrospective clarity is one of the ways God shows us his hand, not by explaining everything up front, but by allowing us to discover it for ourselves. God's subtle guidance is also evident in the people we encounter. Relationships often serve as mirrors, mentors, or catalysts for change. A kind word from a stranger, a friend's encouragement, or even a challenging interaction can carry divine wisdom. Sometimes God uses others to guide us when we're unable to hear him directly. These interactions may seem insignificant at first, but they often plant seeds that grow over time, shaping our thoughts, decisions, and paths. One of the most significant ways God guides us is through our intuition. That quiet, persistent feeling inside us, whether it's a sense of peace about a decision or an unease that won't go away, is often the voice of the divine. Intuition is not the result of random impulses, but the product of a deep connection to something greater than ourselves. When we learn to trust this inner knowing, we align ourselves more closely with God's will. However, recognizing this guidance requires stillness and attentiveness. In a world full of distractions and noise, it can be difficult to hear the whispers of the divine. That's why moments of quiet reflection, whether through prayer, meditation, or simply pausing to breathe, are so essential. They create the space for us to tune in to God's subtle communication. The power of God's guidance lies in its ability to transform us from within. It doesn't simply direct us toward external achievements or destinations. It reshapes our hearts and minds. It teaches us patience when we want quick answers, humility when we think we know best, and courage when we're tempted to give up. God's guidance refines us, not by force, but by gently steering us toward our best selves. Ultimately, the subtlety of God's guidance is a reflection of His love. It honors our freedom to choose while providing the support we need to navigate life's complexities. It's a constant presence, often unnoticed, but always there, weaving beauty and purpose into the fabric of our lives. The more we open our hearts to this quiet, powerful force, the more we realize that we are never alone. God's guidance is always with us, steady and sure, leading us toward the fulfillment of our unique purpose. Deep within every individual lies a profound connection to the divine, a quiet, guiding presence that we often refer to as intuition or the inner voice. It's that subtle nudge, that unspoken knowing that whispers truths to us even when the world is loud with distractions. This inner guidance is not random or purely instinctual. It is a channel through which God speaks to us, offering direction, reassurance, and wisdom. Intuition is not something external. It arises from within, often in moments when we least expect it. Unlike the rational mind, which relies on logic and analysis, intuition bypasses conscious thought and reaches straight into the core of our being. It is an unexplainable certainty, a sense that we are being led toward something or away from something else. This inner voice doesn't shout or demand our attention. It simply speaks, softly yet insistently, inviting us to listen and trust. To understand the role of intuition as divine guidance, it's essential to recognize that God's voice is not always dramatic or overt. Instead, it often manifests through quiet impressions, feelings, or thoughts. These subtle cues are easy to overlook, especially in a world that prizes external validation and tangible proof. But when we learn to trust our inner voice, we open ourselves to a deeper connection with God's wisdom. There are countless moments in life when intuition acts as a protective force. Perhaps you've experienced a sudden urge to change your route while driving, only to discover later that there was an accident on the path you avoided. Or maybe you felt an inexplicable pull to reach out to someone, only to find that they were in desperate need of encouragement at that exact moment. These are not coincidences. They are instances where the divine presence within you speaks, guiding you toward safety, connection, or purpose. At times, intuition serves as a moral compass, helping us discern right from wrong even when the answers are not clear. It can prompt us to stand up for what is just, to extend kindness when it's inconvenient, or to walk away from situations that compromise our integrity. This inner guidance aligns us with God's will, steering us toward actions and choices that reflect love, compassion, and truth. However, listening to the inner voice requires a certain level of stillness and trust. In our modern world, where busyness is celebrated and distractions are constant, it can be challenging to hear the quiet whispers of intuition. Many of us are so caught up in the noise of daily life that we lose touch with this sacred connection. But intuition thrives in moments of stillness, in the spaces between thoughts, in the quiet pauses where we allow ourselves to simply be. Whether through prayer, meditation, or silent reflection, creating room for stillness allows the inner voice to emerge with clarity. Trusting intuition also demands courage. The inner voice often leads us into uncharted territory, urging us to take steps that defy logic or societal expectations. It may call us to leave behind familiar comforts, pursue a dream others dismiss as impractical, or confront truths we would rather avoid. In these moments, doubt and fear can creep in, tempting us to ignore the guidance within. Yet, when we choose to trust, we often find that our intuition leads us to places of growth, healing, and fulfillment. One of the most beautiful aspects of intuition is its personal and intimate nature. While external guidance from mentors, books, or spiritual leaders is valuable, the inner voice is uniquely tailored to each individual. It speaks to the specifics of our lives, taking into account our experiences, desires, and purpose. This personalized guidance reminds us that God is not distant or detached, but deeply involved in our journey. He knows us intimately and communicates with us in ways that resonate with our hearts. The inner voice also connects us to a greater sense of purpose. It often points us toward actions that align with our highest values and deepest longings. When we follow its lead, we experience a sense of flow and alignment, as if the pieces of life are falling into place. This doesn't mean that following intuition is always easy or free of challenges. On the contrary, it often requires sacrifice and perseverance. But even in difficulty, there is a sense of peace and assurance that comes from knowing we are on the right path. Over time, the more we listen to and act on our intuition, the stronger and clearer it becomes. It's like a muscle that grows with use. Each time we trust the inner voice, we deepen our connection to God's guidance and become more attuned to his presence in our lives. Conversely, ignoring intuition can lead to feelings of disconnection or regret. Those moments when we say, "I knew I should have," are reminders of how the inner voice was there all along, quietly pointing the way. Ultimately, intuition is a gift, a sacred tool that allows us to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and confidence. It is not about predicting the future or controlling outcomes, but about walking in partnership with God, trusting that he is with us in every step. By tuning into our inner voice, we open ourselves to a deeper awareness of his presence and guidance. It is a reminder that no matter how complex or uncertain life may seem, we are never alone. God's wisdom resides within us, always ready to lead us toward the light. Life is a journey filled with twists and turns, uncertainties and mysteries. At every stage, we encounter moments that challenge our sense of control and demand decisions without knowing what lies ahead. It is in these moments that faith and trust in the unknown become not just a comfort, but a necessity. They are the unseen anchors that ground us, enabling us to navigate the uncertainty of life with courage and hope. Faith is the quiet assurance that there is a higher power orchestrating our lives, even when we cannot see the full picture. It is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner knowing that God's plans are at work, even in the chaos. Trust complements faith by enabling us to surrender our need for control. It is the act of placing our confidence in God's wisdom and love, even when we face unanswered questions or paths shrouded in mystery. The unknown often feels intimidating. As human beings, we crave certainty. We like to know where we are going, what will happen next, and how things will unfold. Yet life rarely offers such guarantees. It is in the moments of ambiguity, when the road ahead is unclear or the outcome uncertain, that faith becomes a powerful guide. Faith asks us to take the next step even when we cannot see the entire staircase. It reminds us that while we may not have all the answers, God does, and he is with us in every step we take. Trusting in the unknown also requires humility. It challenges us to let go of the illusion of control and acknowledge that we cannot always predict or dictate life's outcomes. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It is a recognition that our perspective is limited while God's vision is infinite. When we release the need to control every detail, we open ourselves to the possibilities that faith creates. We allow God to work in ways that surpass our understanding. One of the most profound aspects of trusting the unknown is the transformation it brings to our relationship with fear. Fear often thrives in uncertainty. It whispers doubts and worst-case scenarios, attempting to paralyze us in indecision or anxiety. Faith, however, acts as a counterbalance to fear. It does not deny the existence of challenges or difficulties, but offers a deeper assurance that we are not alone in facing them. When we place our trust in God, we find the courage to move forward despite fear, knowing that His strength is greater than any obstacle we may encounter. Life's greatest growth often occurs in the spaces of uncertainty. When we are forced to step into the unknown, we learn resilience, adaptability, and patience. We discover resources within ourselves that we did not know existed. Faith encourages us to see these moments not as threats, but as opportunities for transformation. Every challenge becomes a chance to deepen our trust in God's provision and guidance. The act of trusting in the unknown is not without struggle. It requires wrestling with doubt, uncertainty, and the desire for immediate answers. It often feels like stepping into darkness, unsure if there will be solid ground beneath our feet. Yet it is in these moments of vulnerability that God meets us with His grace. The very act of surrender becomes a gateway to deeper intimacy with Him. Trusting in the unknown allows us to experience His faithfulness in ways we could not if everything were certain and predictable. One of the most beautiful truths about faith is that it often reveals itself in hindsight. Looking back, we can see how God's hand guided us through situations that once seemed impossible. We realize that the detours, delays, and unanswered prayers were not signs of abandonment, but evidence of a plan far greater than our own. These moments of clarity strengthen our trust, reminding us that what feels unknown to us is never unknown to God. Faith and trust in the unknown are not passive acts. They require active engagement, a willingness to pray, to reflect, and to take steps forward even when the way is unclear. They ask us to lean into God's promises, to seek His presence, and to find peace in His timing. They invite us to live with open hearts, ready to embrace the unexpected and to believe that no matter what comes, God's love and purpose prevail. At its core, trusting in the unknown is an act of love. It is choosing to believe that the one who created us knows us intimately and cares for us deeply. It is a relationship built on confidence in God's character, not just in His plans. Even when life circumstances seem uncertain, we trust because we know that God is good, faithful, and unchanging. But we trust in His capabilities to remedy or fix us, because we know that God is good, faithful, and unchanging. Faith and trust in the unknown do not eliminate uncertainty, but they transform how we respond to it. They replace fear with hope, doubt with assurance, and anxiety with peace. They remind us that the unknown is not a void to be feared, but a space where God's presence is most profound. When we trust in Him, the unknown becomes not an obstacle, but an invitation, a call to walk by faith, not by sight, and to discover the extraordinary in the midst of life's uncertainties. Number 3, you miss it. In the relentless pace of modern life, stillness has become a rarity. We rush from one task to another, immersed in a whirlwind of responsibilities, distractions, and endless noise. The world around us seems to demand constant action and immediate responses, leaving little room for pause. Yet within the chaos lies an extraordinary power, a power often overlooked but profoundly transformative, the power of stillness and reflection. Stillness is not merely the absence of movement or noise. It is a state of being, a deliberate act of quieting the external and internal commotion to reconnect with something deeper. In stillness, we step away from the demands of the world and create space for clarity, insight, and connection with the divine. Reflection, in turn, allows us to process what we encounter in stillness. It is the act of turning inward, examining our thoughts, experiences, and emotions with honesty and curiosity. The power of stillness lies in its ability to ground us. In a culture that often equates busyness with productivity and worth, stillness reminds us that we are human beings, not human doings. It allows us to step off the treadmill of constant striving and simply be. In these moments of rest, we rediscover our essence, separate from the roles we play and the expectations placed upon us. Stillness becomes a sanctuary where we can breathe deeply and feel the presence of God within us. Reflection amplifies the benefits of stillness by helping us make sense of our experiences. Life often moves too quickly for us to fully process what happens. Without reflection, we may miss the lessons embedded in our struggles, the blessings hidden in our challenges, or the guidance offered in moments of uncertainty. Reflection allows us to sift through the noise and uncover the threads of meaning woven into our days. It helps us discern what truly matters and what does not, giving us a clearer sense of direction. One of the most profound aspects of stillness and reflection is how they connect us to the divine. God often speaks to us in whispers, not in shouts. His guidance is subtle, a quiet nudge in the heart or a gentle stirring in the soul. When we are caught up in the rush of life, we may miss these moments of divine communication. Stillness creates the space for us to hear God's voice more clearly. It is in the pauses, in the moments of quiet surrender, that we often find the answers we seek, the peace we long for, or the reassurance we need. Stillness and reflection also have the power to illuminate our inner world. They reveal the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that drive our actions. In stillness, we may notice patterns we are unaware of, fears we have ignored, hopes we have buried, or desires we have suppressed. Reflection allows us to explore these revelations with compassion and curiosity, offering us the chance to grow and heal. This self-awareness is essential for living authentically and aligning our lives with our values and purpose. The transformative power of stillness and reflection extends beyond the individual. When we take the time to pause and reflect, we become more present, patient, and compassionate in our interactions with others. Stillness allows us to respond rather than react, to listen deeply rather than interrupt, and to approach challenges with wisdom rather than impulsiveness. In this way, the practice of stillness, rather than impulsiveness, rather exists in the world, rather has a ripple effect on the world around us. It's important to recognize that stillness is not always comfortable. In a culture that values constant activity, sitting in stillness can feel counterintuitive or even unsettling. When we pause, we may encounter emotions we've been avoiding or truths we've been reluctant to face. But it is precisely in this discomfort that growth occurs. Stillness invites us to confront what we would rather ignore, offering us the opportunity to release what no longer serves us and make room for renewal. Reflection is the bridge between stillness and action. It is not enough to simply pause. We must also consider what the stillness reveals to us and how it informs the choices we make. Reflection turns insight into intention, helping us align our actions with our deepest values and beliefs. It ensures that our busyness is purposeful rather than mindless, driven by clarity rather than habit. The power of stillness and reflection is timeless. Yet it feels especially urgent in today's world. The demands of modern life often pull us away from ourselves, fragmenting our attention and eroding our sense of connection. Stillness offers a counterbalance, a way to reclaim our center and reorient ourselves toward what truly matters. Reflection deepens this process, transforming stillness into a catalyst for growth, healing, and transformation. In stillness, we discover the beauty of the present moment. The gentle rustling of leaves, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the quiet rhythm of our breath. In reflection, we understand how these moments shape us, teaching us to live with gratitude and intention. Together, stillness and reflection remind us that amidst the busyness of life, there is a deeper rhythm, a sacred pulse that guides us toward peace, purpose, and divine connection. When we embrace these practices, we unlock a power that not only enriches our own lives, but also allows us to bring light and presence to the lives of others. Life is an intricate tapestry of experiences, woven with moments of joy, success, and ease, but also challenges, struggles, and pain. The trials we face often seem unfair or overwhelming, leaving us questioning why they occur. Yet when viewed through a spiritual lens, challenges can be seen as divine lessons, opportunities for growth, refinement, and deeper connection with God. They are not mere obstacles, but purposeful experiences designed to shape us into the people we are meant to become. Challenges often feel daunting because they push us beyond the limits of our comfort zone. They disrupt our plans and force us to confront uncertainty or hardship. Yet it is precisely in these moments of discomfort that transformation begins. Just as a diamond is formed under intense pressure, or gold is refined in fire, Our character and faith are strengthened through adversity. Challenges strip away complacency and invite us to lean into the process of becoming more patient, more resilient, and more attuned to the divine purpose within us. One of the most profound truths about challenges is that they reveal our inner strength. In the midst of hardship, we often feel weak or incapable, but it is through perseverance that we discover reservoirs of courage and endurance we never knew we possessed. This strength is not solely our own. It is a reflection of God's power working within us. Challenges remind us that we are not alone, that we have access to divine strength that carries us through even the darkest valleys. Moreover, challenges teach us humility. They remind us of our dependence on God and the limitations of our own understanding. In times of ease, it is easy to rely on our own abilities or to assume we have control over every aspect of our lives. But when faced with challenges, we are confronted with our vulnerability and our need for divine guidance. These moments of surrender, when we acknowledge that we cannot do it all on our own, become opportunities for deeper trust in God's plan. Challenges also act as mirrors, reflecting aspects of ourselves that we might not otherwise see. They reveal our fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds, offering us the chance to address them. While this process can be painful, it is also profoundly healing. By facing the truths that challenges uncover, we can grow in self-awareness and move toward greater wholeness. This inner work is not just for our benefit, but also equips us to serve and support others more effectively. One of the most beautiful aspects of challenges is the perspective they provide over time. When we are in the midst of a struggle, it can be difficult to see beyond the pain or confusion. But as we endure and emerge on the other side, we often look back and recognize the purpose behind our trials. We see how challenges taught us lessons we could not have learned otherwise, how they prepared us for future opportunities, or how they deepened our empathy for others. This hindsight reveals the hand of God working all things together for good, even when it was not immediately apparent. Challenges also remind us of the interconnectedness of life. While they often feel deeply personal, our struggles often have ripple effects, touching the lives of those around us in unexpected ways. Sometimes the lesson in a challenge is not just for us, but for others as well. Our perseverance can inspire someone else to keep going. Our vulnerability can create space for deeper connection. And our eventual triumph can serve as a testament to the faithfulness of God. Faith plays a crucial role in navigating challenges as divine lessons. It is faith that allows us to trust in God's wisdom, even when circumstances seem senseless or unfair. Faith gives us the assurance that every challenge serves a purpose, even if that purpose is not immediately clear. It is faith that transforms challenges from burdens into opportunities, allowing us to approach them with hope and a willingness to grow. Importantly, challenges also teach us gratitude. When we emerge from a difficult season, we often gain a renewed appreciation for the blessings in our lives. The experience of scarcity can make abundance more meaningful. The experience of pain can heighten our awareness of joy. Challenges help us see the beauty in small, ordinary moments and remind us not to take them for granted. Finally, challenges invite us to cultivate resilience and perspective. They teach us that while pain is inevitable, suffering is not. We have the power to choose how we respond to adversity, whether with bitterness or with grace, whether by turning inward or by reaching out for support. Challenges shape not only who we are in the moment, but also who we are becoming. They remind us that life is not about avoiding hardship, but about embracing the lessons it offers with faith, courage, and an open heart. Ultimately, challenges are an expression of God's love and investment in our growth. They are not punishments, but opportunities to step into our potential and deepen our relationship with Him. Each challenge carries within it the seeds of transformation, and when we face them with faith, we unlock their power to refine us. Through challenges, we come to understand that the trials of life are not obstacles to our journey, but essential parts of it, leading us ever closer to the fullness of who we are meant to be. Co-creation with God is a profound concept that invites us to step into a dynamic partnership with the divine. embracing our role as active participants in shaping our lives and the world around us. It is an invitation to move beyond passive existence into a life of purpose, intention, and collaboration with the Creator of all things. This relationship is not one-sided. It is a harmonious dance of divine guidance and human action, where our efforts align with God's will to bring forth beauty, transformation, and meaning. At its core, co-creation begins with understanding that we are made in the image of God, the ultimate creator. This divine imprint means that creativity and the power to shape our lives are woven into the fabric of who we are. We are not simply bystanders in the unfolding of our existence. We are called to be co-creators, working hand in hand with God to manifest His vision for the world and our unique role within it. This sacred partnership reminds us that life is not something that merely happens to us, but something we actively participate in shaping. Co-creation starts with intention. It asks us to align our desires, goals, and actions with God's purpose. This alignment is not about relinquishing our dreams, but about refining them to reflect higher values and deeper truths. When we seek God's guidance through prayer, meditation, and reflection, we open ourselves to His wisdom. This process helps us discern which pursuits serve not only our own well-being, but also the greater good. It transforms our aspirations into something more meaningful, rooted in love, service, and connection. Faith plays a crucial role in co-creation. It requires us to trust that God's plans are for our ultimate good, even when the path forward is unclear. Faith allows us to take bold steps, knowing that we are supported by a power greater than ourselves. Yet co-creation is not about waiting passively for miracles to unfold. It is about acting with the confidence that our efforts, when aligned with God's purpose, have the power to bring those miracles into being. This balance of faith and action is the essence of co-creation, trusting in God's provision while doing our part to fulfill our role in the process. The second secret to significantly life-changing breakthroughs is the recognition that breakthroughs are possible, but only if you agree to find success in the middle of the downside. One of the most beautiful aspects of co-creation is that it is deeply personal. God works uniquely with each individual, taking into account their gifts, talents, and circumstances. No two journeys of co-creation are the same because each person has a distinct role to play in the larger tapestry of creation. Recognizing and embracing our unique contributions allows us to co-create with authenticity and joy, knowing that we are fulfilling a purpose only we can fulfill. Co-creation also teaches us about responsibility. As co-creators, we have the power to shape not only our own lives, but also the world we inhabit. This power comes with the responsibility to act with integrity, compassion, and wisdom. It challenges us to be mindful of how our choices impact others and to strive for actions that uplift and unite rather than harm or divide. Co-creation calls us to be stewards of God's creation, working to nurture and protect the environment, communities, and relationships entrusted to us. Another profound aspect of co-creation is the element of surrender. While we are active participants in the creative process, we must also recognize that God's vision often transcends our understanding. Surrendering to God's wisdom does not mean giving up our agency. Rather, it is an act of trust that allows us to flow with His plans rather than resist them. It is the recognition that while we plant seeds and tend to the soil, it is God who brings the growth. This balance between effort and surrender is where the magic of co-creation truly lies. Co-creation also requires patience. The process of bringing something meaningful into existence often unfolds over time and may involve detours, challenges, and moments of uncertainty. These experiences are not obstacles, but essential parts of the journey. They teach us resilience, refine our character, and deepen our reliance on God. Through these challenges, we come to understand that co-creation is not just about the end result, but also about the transformation that occurs within us as we walk the path. Community is another vital component of co-creation. While our relationship with God is deeply personal, we are also part of a larger collective. Co-creation invites us to work together, supporting and inspiring one another as we build a world that reflects God's love and justice. Collaboration with others allows us to multiply our efforts, combining our strengths to create something greater than we could achieve alone. It reminds us that we are all interconnected and that our shared purpose is to bring God's kingdom to life here on earth. Ultimately, co-creation with God is an act of love. It is about infusing our lives with a divine energy of creativity and using it to contribute to the greater good. It is about recognizing that we are not separate from God's work, but integral to it, invited to join Him in the ongoing process of creation. Through this sacred partnership, we discover the joy and fulfillment that come from living a life of purpose and connection. Co-creation is both a gift and a calling, a reminder that we are not passive spectators, but active participants in the unfolding of God's extraordinary plan.